KTN News. Get the whole story.
Market is considered a more profitable alternative for farmers who attain the set standards. Horticultural produce, among them French beans, is among the crops dominating the international market, mostly being sold in the Europe market, UK, Egypt, among other nations. On today's episode of Youth in Agriculture, we explore some of the requirements that farmers are required to attain before they can have an access to the much anticipated opportunity in the international market.
My name is Gideon Boro. I'm a youth and I'm a farmer. This is one of our farms, zenye tuko nazo in Kitengela. We are in the final stage of harvesting. And we have been here for the last, I think, now like 1 year plus. I grew up in a farming family, and that was back then. Then I went to college, I did my IT. Then from there was no jobs. So I had to look for other ways of surviving, and I found myself in farming. And how did this happen? I got a job in one of, back then it was one of the best exporting company in Kenya. And from there I worked for almost 2 years, and then I was off. I left the job for farming. I've done a lot. Actually, I've been to Kinangop in Jabini. We have done snow peas and sugar snaps, but we had challenges with weather at the end of the day. And the market for snow peas and sugar snap, it is not as much as wanting as for beans. We have the market for beans is huge. It's volume, you know, and French beans actually takes almost 90% of what exported in Kenya for vegetables. It's on beans, so I had to capitalize on beans. Okay, let me say, and it's not easy, because I remember when we started in Yatta, it didn't go quite well, and then from there I moved to Narok, where we did a good acreage of that snow peas. Then I remember I had a loan from one of the banks in Kenya, and it all went down. Leasing the land and all farm inputs, labor and everything, a total of close to 300,000, and it was much for me, and that made me went down completely. Challenges are always there when it comes to farming, and my lesson was you have to be in the farm as long as there's operations down there. You know, back then we used to be in Nairobi, and someone is there doing things for you on the other side. Send money to do this, you send money to do this, you send. So from that, what happened, now I became a real farmer who's always available in the farm. My time, I spend much of my time in the farms, and that has made me to take one step to another. Yes, because you cannot do online farming. Yes, it's not possible, and many people have done it, and they have run into losses the same way, you know, because you trust someone. Maybe you have a farm manager who's there, you know, you trust them so much that you just need to send money and send money and send money and send money. At the end of the day, you just take in month 2 visits in a month, you know, definitely things would be okay at the end. Close to Nairobi, close to our park house. Almost all the farms in Kajiado, they are virgin lands, so the production is much higher than in Makueni, in Machakos, and in Moya, where we have been farming for years and years. And here what we normally do, most of farms in Kitengela, it's on drip irrigation because we use borehole. So we have to save the little water that we have. We don't do furrow irrigation and another thing. So Kitengela it's let me say it's one of the areas that we are getting good production from here. Yes, and you can see it's a very small piece of land, but the production is good. Yeah. Now for French beans farming, you have to know your market first. And not all French beans go to same market because we have wide varieties of beans. Like for our market now, like for this piece of land, it's almost 2 acres as it is. And the beans, the variety that we have here is Samantha variety, which goes which is good for French market because the spec is quite small, and our market is for extra fine beans. So for you to be able to get extra fine beans, you have only 2 varieties that we normally buy, which is Samantha variety and Ami. There are other varieties, but they're not as good as Samantha, and Samantha tops the best of the best kind variety of beans that you can plant and get extra fine bean. Yeah, the other thing is that the investment in this piece of land, it doesn't cost that much, because once you have drips, the cost goes down, because you regulate the amount of water that you use on irrigation. From the farm level, where we had our first in Kitengela, we bring the here. This is a CDA pack house. It's owned by the government, but for us as SMEs from here, it is easy for us to work from here. Now from here, this is where we do sorting. Sorting has maybe you can base it in terms of quality, where we do quality check from our quality QCs, quality controllers. Then we have quality assurance guys who check the quality of the product which came from the farm first before it goes to the tables to the ladies. So what ladies are doing right now is checking the spec in terms of maybe the produce has strip bite, if it has carved. We don't put carved beans, we don't put beans which has defects. So that is what they are doing here right now, the normal sorting and grading. Then from grading, then we go to trimming. Trimming is so vital, because at the end of the day, the bean has to be equal as per the pannet that you saw back then. It has to be equally trimmed from both sides, and then while you're doing the trimming, we have what we call salad sanitizer to make sure the end where they're doing the trimming, top and tail, that doesn't brown with time. So we have salad sanitizer that we do dip and trim, so to make sure we have a more lifespan of the product. From the farm, we do what we call pre-cooling first. Like it will take like 2 hours to do pre-cooling of the beans. Then after 2 hours, then we bring them to the table where they get sorted, where they get trimmed, and now labeled, then to the cold room again. The cold room will take like another 2 hours to do pre-cooling again, once the beans are now trimmed. Now from the pack house, from the cold room, now they leave for the export, for the dispatch export. At the export, that's where we have other cold rooms that takes for 2 to 3 hours before they are flown out of the country. But cooling is unnecessary, it's a must at the airport and still here. All shipments, every shipment, you see we had 3 batches of pallets. Every pallet must be that we must take the temperature before the dispatch, because in case we have some issues with the temperature on the other side, we have a proof of what is here. So it's recommended, and that's what we recommend from here. We take temperatures of our product before it leaves the pack house. for dispatch. The same thing, guys, at the HC, at the export on the other side, agents, they will take the temperature. Now those temperatures, pictures are the one that they will email them to the clients to make sure that the temperature that we have before dispatch is what is recommended by the standard. Yes.